Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai Roy Lo Echsor, Ben Astesh Yarbitzein Yemei Menuchsi Na'aleini. Song of David. Hashem is my shepherd. I have no other needs. On lush meadows, he lies me down. Besides the still waters, he leads me. Nafshi Eshovev, Yancheni B'maglei Tzedek L'man Shemo. He restores my soul. He leads me on the path of justice for his name's sake. Kam kielech begeit samoves lo ira ra, ki ata imadi, shivtecha mishantecha hema yinachamuni. Even though I walk in the valley overshadowed by death, I fear no evil because I know you are with me. Your rod and your staff together both serve to comfort me. Tarach lefonai shulchan negat sororoi, dishanta b'shem and roshi kosi revoya. Prepare a table before me, in full view of my tormentors. Anointed my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Ach tov v'ches yedefuni kol yemei chayai, v'shavti b'veis Adonai l'orech yamim. May only goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life, that I'll be able to dwell in the house of the Almighty for an eternity of days. And gathered to take final leave, Helen Nadle, Chassia Devora, Bas Yitzchak Yaakov. Because it's Hanukkah today, in lieu of the fact that it's a public holiday, so the normal eulogy is minimized. The Rabbi is designating these days the day of holidays, specifically days of Hanukkah. It was a holiday celebrating the continuity of the Jewish family in many ways too. For that reason, the mourning, the difficulty of the individual family, to some extent, doesn't override the public celebration of a holiday. Nonetheless, I'd like to talk about some of the characteristics that Helen represented. I had the opportunity of knowing her for quite a few years. Been close friends with the family for 25 years, thank God. Had the opportunity of meeting her many times at family occasions, simchas, and otherwise. And in many ways, Helen Nadle represented the idea of the quintessential representative of the Jewish matriarch. Thank God she lived a long and fruitful life, 97 years old. And represented very strong Jewish ideals. Though she's not necessarily observant in the traditional sense of the word, but nevertheless she had tremendous nachas, tremendous support for her daughters, for her grandchildren, who chose to live more of an observant lifestyle. It was very important, mentioned Chaya, Jennifer, and Sue growing up, how important it was to their parents that they live a Jewish lifestyle. If they marry Jewish, they live a Jewish lifestyle. She was very supportive of that too. Living as a homemaker the vast majority of those years, had the opportunity of being able to instill those values into her children, into her grandchildren, to thank God to 13 great-grandchildren. Rabbis tell us regarding Hanukkah that although Hanukkah is a mitzvah which is limited by time, mitzvah shazman groma, and generally speaking, many times women are exempt from some of the mitzvahs that are limited by time. Women are obligated in the mitzvah of Hanukkah just like men, however. The explanation offered for that is because af hein hoya ba'osa nes. The women too were included in the miracle of Hanukkah. There are different interpretations as to what that means. Some say it means to say that the decree The decrees of the Syrian Greeks were equally against the women as well as against the men. And also the fact that the miracle of Hanukkah, one of the miracles came about through Yehudis, the daughter of Matisyo, the hero of the Hanukkah story, came through the hands of Yehudis, who killed herself, killed the Greek general Holofernes. The idea of these ideas are very much personified by Mrs. Nadle, Helen. The idea of going through challenges in life, yet coming out strong. That was something, was always that sense of a little feisty, but a strong sense of values. For that matter, also a sense of continuity that was so important. But at the same token, also the heroine of the story in many ways, too. She stood up when necessary to be able to take a stand also. There were early founders, her parents growing up in Cleveland, early founders of Temple Emmanuel. She herself also had a tremendous sense of responsibility to the community. Many years she crocheted, very involved in a group and being able to distribute crocheted pieces of clothing and such to people, to the needy. In many ways, the heroine in the Jewish community, heroes and heroines, both of them, are not necessarily people that get their name in the newspaper, not necessarily people that are mentioned prominently in the public eye. Sometimes the greatest heroes are people that are behind the scenes, people that are not necessarily out in the open. I find that specifically perhaps more by the heroines of the Jewish nation. The true heroines sometimes are the people we don't necessarily hear too much about, but nevertheless behind the scenes there's definitely have a tremendous impact and a tremendous influence on everything that goes on. David Melech, King David tells us in Psalms in praise of the Jewish woman called Kvuda Bas Melech Penima. In many ways, her glory and her honor is more away from the public eye, more of a reserved type of a situation. I think that was Helen's quality also. In many ways, again, more quiet, more reserved, although again, certainly she had her opinions and certainly was capable of being able to express those opinions too. But nevertheless, it was still something, again, that sense of that quiet dignity, that influence, as mentioned before. She put herself complete dedication to her family. Those are the characteristics we aspire to emulate. And I believe in many ways, living a long, fruitful life, those will be the qualities that will be remembered also by your children, his daughters and sons-in-law, Stuart and Mickey, the grandchildren, for our grandchildren and the great-grandchildren also, both here and abroad. May your soul be bound in the eternal bond of life. I believe that in itself should be the greatest sense of comfort to the family at this difficult time. Recognition of the fact that your mother, your grandmother, and great-grandmother lived a life which is so full. I find that idea of the great rabbis of Sfas Emes passed away at a relatively young age. One of his children remarked, "My father may not have merited longevity of years, but he merited longevity of days." He explained, because a person can live many, many years perhaps in this world, but if the years themselves are empty years, it doesn't have much to show for them. That might be the longevity of years, but not longevity of days. Our father, he said, may have passed away at a relatively young age, but his years were full years. Helen merited to both to have longevity of days and longevity of years. She had a lot to show for her days, a lot to show for every moment that counted, every day that counted. That was an accomplishment, as well as the many years to be able to look forward, to be able to see the fruits of her labors, her descendants, and all the good deeds that she did throughout also. Again, may her soul be bound to the eternal bond of life. I'd like to ask her granddaughter Sarah to come up and say a few words.
My grandmother was a dignified and strong woman. It was thanks to her decision and gentle persuasion that my parents and aunt became vegan before I was born. She led an exercise class in the pool for her friends every morning. She played mahjong and understood the importance of friendship. She taught me how to play blackjack, how to take out the rubbish, how to eat potatoes with salsa instead of ketchup, eat oatmeal for breakfast, and drink hot water with no tea. She taught me to pull the sheets taut when making the bed, and how to make air pop popcorn and go to bed early. She taught me the value of chocolate ice cream. She used to keep Grandpa's favorite chocolate in the fridge for him. She used to make for us chili, her special potato salad, and vegetarian chopped liver just because. She made potato kugel muffins because the crispy part is the best. She was the first candy man I ever knew at synagogue. She always had candies to share with me. When we picked her up to go, we would laugh every week how we matched without planning. In more recent years, she would engage my babies from the high chair by making silly faces across the Shabbos table. Her love was displayed on her face. We shared so many special moments together. I'm so blessed to have gotten to know her and learn from her, to be connected to a generation of the past, a link in the chain of our heritage, to know her greatness and feel her love. I'm forever grateful.
The regular mole prayer is not said today because of Hanukkah. The interment will be at the Hillcrest Cemetery. That's on Aurora. It's across the street a little from Mount Olive. The family will see friends today at the Mintz residence till 7 o'clock. The rest of the week will be by the Greenbergs home until next Tuesday morning.